of us fail in life because we're afraid of what everyone around you is thinking. That's 100% truth. A lot of times I'll be in a 200-mile run or something like that, and I'm all jacked up. Body's broken, mind's broken, spirit's broken. I start to say, what if I can pull this off? Some of my black friends, I was afraid of what they think. I was afraid of what other people thought about me. So now, when I go in the military, I didn't know you would fucking join the military. I didn't tell you because I was afraid of what you thought. When I first walked into the Navy SEAL recruiter's office, he looked at me and said, there's only been 35 African Americans in 70 years make it through. You know what I said to myself? What if I can be the 36th? It's the what if I can pull off a fucking miracle. What if I can become someone that no one thinks I can be? One person that you can switch and change is yourself. Holding yourself accountable. You be your own fucking hero. Whoever your hero is, they're gonna let you down. Trust me, they will. We're human beings and you cannot be them. You're not them. You gotta find your best self. Stop reading books about other people. Stop doing this about other people. Spend time with yourself. Create your own super being.
Yeah.
Create your own Rocky. Create your own Rambo. Create your own superhero. We live by the narrative of other people. When I first called a recruiter to be a Navy SEAL and I was 297 pounds, the first recruiter looked at me and said, you're not going to be able to make this, man. So what he was doing was he was projecting his energy on me. He knew he couldn't be a fucking Navy SEAL. So God helped this black guy, because I was only the 36th African American to make it through in over 70 years. How's this black fat guy going to make it through in my ass? He wouldn't even want to try. Once again, man, you're allowing other people to shackle your mind. It's the worst thing in the world. A lot of us who are negative people, all we do is project how we feel on other people. There's a lot of negative people walking around the planet Earth who are afraid to try. Because a lot of people are very negative in this world. So we are afraid to fail. Why? I told you, man. Shouldn't even try it, dude. Just chill out, relax. Why are you so crazy? Why are you so obsessed? So all that stuff drives the quitting mind, I call it. The mind wants to quit. The mind's tired. The mind thinks it's very deserving. So the biggest problem in this world is other people, not yourself. It's other people in your head. They are puppet mastering you pretty much on your life.
I'm a hard worker. Everybody in this room is a hard worker. That's not going to separate you from anybody else. What are you working hard on? People always look for one thing for the other. Oh, you got to work, you got to work smarter and not harder. No, you got to work smarter and you got to work harder.
You got to look at the situation and say to yourself, is this truly unattainable? Like truly unattainable? And sometimes, even though it seems truly unattainable, but then when you actually think about it, you realize, oh, I could attain this. I can make this happen. I'm going to have to sacrifice whatever to make it happen.
You could be misunderstood by everybody because you're going to be so f***ing obsessed and so driven to get there. That's what it takes.
That's the truth.
It takes every second of your life. Anybody says balance? Yeah, balance is important for a lot of people. It is. But if you want to go to that edge where people do not like you, don't understand you, question everything you do, you've arrived.
I'm going to buckle down. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to see how close I can get to achieving the goal. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to go so hard that it's going to get nuts. Like, we're going to get it done.
Yeah.
And then if we fall short, which we will, because I figured out there's no physical, humanly possible way to make this happen, then what I'm going to do is I will go to them and I'll explain the things that I am going to do differently next time in order to meet their goals, right? Far as an individual person, there's going to be things in your life that you don't have control over. For instance, someone gets a terrible disease, or their kids gets a terrible disease, a random disease that's through no fault of anyone. The kid gets sick or the person gets sick. And no, there's nothing you can do about that. What you can take ownership, though, is how you respond to that situation. And so that's what you have to do. There's things that you can control. There's things you can't control. Human beings can control a lot more than they think they can. Somebody asked me a question the other day, does courage have to involve risk? And I thought about it a little bit. Yeah, I think if you're going if you're going to get credit for courage, then there has to be some level of risk, whether it's, capital risk in doing something in a business, or physical risk if you're doing something to run into a fire to save somebody. I would recommend that you don't let random bots or people on Twitter bother you that much. That's my recommendation. If you have a mindset that's so highly disciplined and so highly structured, like I just said, then you're not going to think creatively when there's a problem that needs to be solved. So you want to have people that don't mind the discipline and can actually access the discipline in a way that they can utilize it, but you don't want people to be trapped by discipline. And you have to be aware, and if you're aware that it's a strength, and if you're aware that it can also be a weakness, and if you're aware that it's a weakness and you're aware that it can also be a strength, then you can probably optimize the way that you're going to think, which is pretty beneficial.
I don't come out of the gate with a low opinion of people. That's actually not true. I have high hopes for people that they're going to do well, but I don't have expectations that they're going to perform. There's a difference there, right? Mm-hmm. I don't view people in a low. My opinion of people is not low out of the gate, but I don't layer heavy expectations on them because that's unfair.
Right.
You got snakes, okay? If you don't learn to play with the snakes, you're never going to get the anti-venom from their fangs. Right? You're never going to get them figured out. And if you don't figure out how to get the anti-venom, the snakes are always going to own you. So you got to learn how to deal with snakes. I had a kid when I was at Team 2, kid from Arkansas or something, and we were out in the hills somewhere, and there was a rattlesnake, and he grabbed that thing like he was picking up a pair of socks. It was like no factor. Boom, walked over, picked up the snake, whacked it against the tree. I said, okay, this dude knows how to deal with snakes. And it's the same thing here. People are snakes. Does that mean you just avoid them and you're not going to play the game? And the worst thing, you know what you don't do with a snake? Is you don't walk over and get all like intimidate them and get in their face, and so it bites you and poisons you. Yes, you got to play the game. People like this exist. Handle those snakes like that young boy from Arkansas. You learn their moves. You get the antidote. You get the anti-venom for their poison. And you actually, in this process, you become immune to their attacks. And you reach a point where they actually don't attack you because they're familiar with you. And they trust you. And you can overcome their weapons. You can rise up. You can get control of them. And you can utilize them for your own purpose, right? Now, if that purpose was something that was self-centered or something that was for your own good and not for them or not for the team, then it'd be a form of manipulation and it'd be pretty negative. But if all you're doing is trying to get these snakes on board with the program to help the whole team win, we got no issue with that. We got no moral issue with that. I got no moral issue with me treating people nicely to try and get them on board with the program so that they can help our team win. I got no issue with that, moral or otherwise.
When you leave this room, you will take full ownership. And the reason why I say it's my fault, even when it's not my fault, because when I say it's your fault, I give you power. I give you control over my life. And I will never give another human control over my life. It's my fault. It's my problem. I'm coming up with a solution for it. Listen to me closely. I'm not saying it's your fault, but it's your solution. I'm not saying you didn't do it. But you owe it to yourself in this country to let that stuff go so you can be what you're supposed to be.
What if I told you only get one more conversation with your children? How much more precious does that one more become? What if I told you you only get one more dance with your sweetie pie, with your sweetheart? What if I told you this was the last podcast or your last meeting? What if you started to treat things in your life like you only have one more of them? And all of a sudden, your whole universe will change. I believe you were born to do something great with your life. And I think maybe you forgot. You were born to do something great with your life. And greatness doesn't mean you're worth hundreds of millions of dollars, although it can. Greatness means this, that you have a vision, an imagination, and a dream for your life, and your life ends up replicating it.